heart that hurts. I want to spend my life mending broken people. I want to spend my life mending broken people. Welcome to Natural Lifestyle Cooking. You're in for a real treat today. My wife Teenie is going to share with you some absolutely delicious, healthful, delightful holiday recipes. During this program, you'll learn how your holidays can be healthy. Teenie, what do you have for us today?
Well, the holidays are a special time. It's a wonderful time of the year, but oftentimes people think, well, I'll go on a diet after the holidays because they haven't eaten good, healthy food. And so we're going to show today how you can have wonderful food for the holidays. We're going to talk about food for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we're even going to have a special holiday of Valentine's Day. And so let's look at the abundance of good things that we have as a plant-based vegetarian. Some people wonder, do you have very much that you can eat? Well, let's take a look at our table. Well, first of all, we have on our bread plate some wonderful pecan rolls. And we have a recipe in the new workbook that I've just finished for those pecan rolls, and they are delicious and nutritious with all those pecans. And then let's take a look at the sweet potatoes. These are wonderful sweet potatoes with some pecans, and we're going to share a little more about that. And then we also have some relish trays. We always want to eat, of course, some good fresh things every day. So we have all these good things, and we even made some radish roses for our relish tray. So always getting something fresh is very important. And then we have some green beans and almonds, and you can do a number of things with your vegetables. And then we also have some veggie turkey and dressing. We always want, of course, some dressing, some kind of bread dressing for the holidays. So we have some veggie turkey and dressing, and then we have a delicious cashew holiday roast made mainly from some nuts, and it is delicious and nutritious. And of course we have some wonderful butternut squash, which is high in your vitamins and vitamin A. So we have a number of things, and of course we have homemade bread, and then also the best dessert that you can get is always something fresh. And so we have some fresh fruit, and you may even want to top off that Thanksgiving dinner with some wonderful nuts, some fresh nuts in the shell. Those nuts are so nutritious and high in protein and wonderful for us. And then, of course, we may want some desserts at the Valentine's Day too. So we might want to have some carob cupcakes and maybe even some little fruit balls made from dried fruit. So this is a wonderful array of holiday foods that we can have, and we might want to even add some jam on our bread or our pecan rolls, and even add some color with some fresh cranberry sauce. We have an abundance of good things that we can get at the holiday time.
And you're going to share some recipes of just how we can do this and with the audience, and share exactly the ingredients to have these healthy holidays.
Yes, let's start with the holiday roast, the cashew holiday roast. 3 cups of raw ground cashew nuts, 2 cups of vegetarian vegan veggie burger, 2 tablespoons of oil, 1 large onion chopped and chopped fine, 1 cup of celery chopped, 1 cup of breadcrumbs, a ½ teaspoon of salt, 3 teaspoons of Energy Egg Replacer mixed with 2 tablespoons of water, 1 cup of soy milk, and 1 tablespoon of Bragg's liquid aminos. So let's start this recipe right now. We're going to start with our cashews. Cashews are a wonderful nut. We have many wonderful nuts, our almond nuts, our cashew nuts, our walnuts. But all of these natural nuts are good and high in protein. And then we have some vegan, vegetarian burger. And we're going to mix that together here. And then we'll add actually some egg replacer to the water. And I like to just beat that a little bit so it actually becomes almost like an egg white. And you just beat that and mix that all in. And so we're just going to mix that in here. And then we have some onions, and this is a large onion, and this is an onion here, and some celery. And of course, again, onions and celery are very nutritious and good for us. And then breadcrumbs. And what I did was I just took some bread, some 100% whole wheat bread, and ground it up so that we had some natural good breadcrumbs here. Then you can add your tablespoons of oil, just a little bit of olive oil. We just used some light olive oil there. And then a little bit of salt to just season this a bit, and some McKay's chicken seasoning. And then we have a little bit of Bragg's. And then we mix this all together. And then we're going to add our soy milk once we get this all mixed up. And this is a wonderful roast to serve at the holiday time. In fact, it's even good when it's not the holiday time as well. But it's a wonderful roast, and it will hold together nicely for you as well. So we're going to add our milk and then put it into probably an 8x8 pan like this. It will fit nicely. And it will hold together, as you can see, our finished product here. And it will hold together nicely. And so just mix this all together. And then you can serve with this some wonderful mashed potatoes, or you can serve some good holiday sweet potatoes, and then some kind of a salad is always good. Something fresh is always wonderful. And then in addition to that, you can have some fresh green beans or carrots or whatever cooked vegetable you want, and you will have a complete meal. So we're going to just pour this into here, and then we're going to bake this for about an hour, a little more than an hour sometimes, if at about 350 degrees, and it will be golden brown, nice and brown. And so here we have this. You can see how easy it is to mix everything up and just have it so that it's nice and even across the top of your pan. And then you have a wonderful holiday roast. And here's your finished product here. So you just take this and bake it. You bake this at 350 degrees, and then you have a wonderful roast. So it's easy to have a plant-based diet even on the holidays. And then with that, you can serve some wonderful sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are high in vitamin A, wonderful, and then you can add a little bit of protein by having some pecans or even some walnuts, and serve that roast with some sweet potatoes and maybe even some delicious butternut squash. All I did with the butternut squash is just cook the butternut squash in a little bit of water, enough so that it's all cooked up. Whenever you cook your vegetables, it's good to cook them so that that all the water is cooked up in them so that you get the good nutrients there. And then I just added, for the holidays, a little pinch of brown sugar and a little bit of salt, and that is it. And you have some wonderful food for the holidays. And now Mark is going to share with us 7 principles of how to keep your family healthy during the holidays.
Teenie's been keeping me healthy for the last 45 years, and so I have enjoyed so many wonderful holidays, and we've enjoyed these holidays and special occasions with our family. As many of you know, for the last 45 years, Teenie has been teaching natural lifestyle cooking. We calculated the other day that about 250,000 food samples were made during that period of time, and over 20,000 people have attended her natural lifestyle cooking classes. Many of you have gotten her natural lifestyle cooking cookbook, and that has been a blessing to your family. She has now added a companion book to that, and I'm going to be working out of it today, called Natural Lifestyle Cooking Workbook. And this is particularly for people who are teaching natural lifestyle cooking classes and others who want more scientific information regarding it. We're going to look at 7 principles of having healthy holidays. Here's the first. If you want to have a healthy holiday, live a very balanced lifestyle. In fact, plan your holidays to be balanced. In our home on our holidays, we look at the Finley's F's of holidays. First, absolutely delicious food. Teenie looks at these holiday meals and she plans them ahead of time, and it requires careful planning, but it's really worth it because the holidays become a great memory. So the first aspect of this balance is to have really good tasting food, but good tasting food that's healthy. Have you ever had some good tasting food that wasn't healthy? Have you ever had some healthy food, might I say it, that did not taste the best? And you thought, oh man, this is healthy and I'm going to eat it if it kills me, you know. You want to have on holidays, first, absolutely delicious, attractive food, and that really takes some planning. The second thing that we strive for on holidays in the Finley family is fellowship. We want our healthy holidays to be filled with fellowship. We want to balance eating with fellowship. You know, some people eat and sleep or eat and watch TV. They have this huge Thanksgiving meal that they just stuff themselves with, and then they sit back groggily having to watch television the rest of the day. In our home, we have some great food, but then we want a fellowship, the interaction. That makes such an incredible difference in a family. The third thing that we look for in these F's: food that is fantastically tasting, fellowship that is rich and meaningful as we sit and share our experiences. Maybe families come in, kids have been off to school, we haven't seen one another for a period of time. Our children are grown now, so they've been working, and we get together, it's a lot of chatter around the table and chatter after. And then we always plan fun. So we have food, fellowship, and fun. And so we'll be playing games. Recently we were together for somebody's birthday, and one of the things we did is watch a little YouTube video on how to draw an eye. And all of 6 of us were sitting around there, from the youngest children to the oldest grandpa. And we were drawing this eye. And then we had people guess who drew what eye. And it was a lot of fun and a lot of family activity involved there. So the first thing you want is balance. We balance food, fellowship, and fun. The second thing that I've listed here in the workbook is, on holidays, make wise choices. Choices are incredibly important on holidays. Some people choose to tank up on all their protein. Other people will say, oh, I'm going to eat a little bit moderately, but then I'm going to have 2 pieces of pumpkin pie with ice cream, and they load up on the desserts. When you look at your holiday plate, look for a variety of color. The salads, the beautiful squash, the holiday roast. Try to look at a variety on the holidays and make wise choices in what you eat. Wise choices not only in what you eat, but in the quantity that you eat. The joy of eating comes not simply when we are stuffed but the joy of eating comes from the satisfaction we have of the food in our mouth. So chew food thoroughly, eat moderate amounts, and you will have a delightful holiday. So here are 3 things so far. 1, balance. Try to achieve a balance between food, fellowship, and fun. 2, make wise choices. 3, eat in moderation. Don't stuff yourself and try to be full when you finish, but eat in moderation. And 4thly, get some exercise. In our home, on our holidays, we love, after eating, for everybody to get some exercise by doing 3 things. The first exercise that I want to teach you is the push away. You simply push away from the table before you are completely stuffed. The second exercise is you exercise your hands by participating in doing the dishes together. Men, women, children, everybody participate in family activity. The third exercise is get out in the fresh air. Head erect, shoulders back, deep breaths, take some good walks. And you will have healthy holidays if you do these 4 particular things. 1, balance. 2, make wise choices. 3, eat in moderation. And 4, plan your holidays so you get some exercise, whether it's throwing a ball in the backyard, playing badminton, playing croquet, whether it's taking a walk. Help with the dishes. You'll like that too. And your spouse will like it as well. Teenie, there is another recipe on the holidays that I really love. What do you have for us now?
Well, we're going to do some vegetarian turkey and dressing. I know that you'll like that because every holiday usually have some kind of bread dressing. For this recipe, you'll need 1 cup of chopped celery, 1 onion, some light olive oil, and a bag of seasoned stuffing mix, and 4 cups of water, and 2 tablespoons of McKay's chicken seasoning, and some Cedar Lake Veggie turkey slices. So let's start with our breadcrumbs and saute, and I've sauteed some onions and celery together. So you just add that to the breadcrumbs, and then you add a little bit of your McKay's chicken seasoning in with your boiling water. So this water has been boiling. It's important to make sure it's hot and boiling because it will make the, it will not make the dressing soggy. And so then you just pour it over there and mix it all together. And then you have a wonderful dressing that you can put in between your veggie turkey. And so, and you can serve this just plain as well. And then we just put this, add this inside a piece of vegetarian turkey and put some dressing inside just like this and put it into a baking dish because you want to bake this. And if you want them to look nice, you just push them all together so that you have a nice, a lot of turkey vegetarian dressing in there. And then you just keep piling one in back of the other. And then with this, of course, you're just going to serve your potatoes again. Wonderful different kinds of potatoes. We have lots of different kinds of potatoes in the Natural Lifestyle Cooking Book. Then you can put some of the dressing onto the side here if you want to have a little more. And put some on the other side and bake this off. Just for about a half an hour. Really what you're wanting to do is get your vegetarian turkey just warmed up, and then you have a wonderful entree dish. Again, this is high in protein, and this is a wonderful holiday dish. Now, in addition to that, you can serve some wonderful pecan rolls. Pecan rolls are high in protein, 10 grams of protein in just 1 cup of pecans. In addition to that, you have lots of fiber in pecans. So it is also nutritious because it's high in in nutrients as well, in all our vitamins and even some minerals. And so you have some good pecan rolls to go with that vegetarian turkey and dressing. And then, in addition to that, you just serve that with your potatoes, maybe mashed potatoes and some gravy, and your vegetarian turkey and your pecan rolls and some wonderful cooked vegetables, maybe some cooked carrots. And remember, when you're cooking those vegetables, just cook them in enough water so it's all cooked up when the vegetables are done. It'll be much more nutritious. So yes, we can have healthy holidays. So Mark, share with us some more principles of having good, healthy meals on the holidays.
Well, we've been looking at some very significant principles of how to have these healthy holidays. How to have your holidays not simply holidays in which you say, once this is over, then I'm going to get on a health program. Your holidays actually can be a catalyst for health. In the Natural Lifestyle Cooking Workbook, designed especially for people who want to conduct cooking schools, natural lifestyle cooking schools, or for people that want to probe more of the scientific aspects of health, we've listed 7 principles that will help your family have healthy holidays. We've already talked about having a balance in your life, blending food, family, fellowship, and fun. We've talked about making wise choices on the holidays, and the wise choices look in really 2 ways. One, the food on your plate, being sure that the color is varied, that you're varying protein and starch and carbohydrates and vegetables and salads, etc. We've talked a little bit about eating moderately. Eating so that you are satisfied, but not eating so you're stuffed. We talked about exercise. Remember, we talked about the push away, that famous exercise where you sit at the table, and when you're just about full, you use your hands to push away. We talked also about the participating together in family activities and getting out and taking a great walk. Now, there are some other principles I'd like to discuss with you about healthy holidays. Enjoy relationships. You know, wouldn't it be a tragedy if you had a birthday party or a Thanksgiving or Christmas time? The kids were home, the brother that you haven't seen for a while is there, your family is all together, and you are so busy preparing food, or you're so tired from the preparation that you don't have time for fellowship. Concentrate on fellowship on the holidays. There is something about positive relationships that is health-giving and life-giving. Next, surprise somebody with kindness. You know, Jesus said, it is more blessed for us to do what? To give than it is to receive. Often in our home, we like to look for people who may not have a place to go on Thanksgiving and invite them. We like to look for people on Christmas that we can prepare a special gift for. Very regularly, my wife on the holidays makes homemade bread, wraps it in tinfoil, puts a bow on it, and we go out and give it to the neighbors or others. There was a time a couple of years ago where we adopted a family in a particular city of America, in the inner city, that my wife and I and our children brought Christmas gifts to. When you think about the holidays, think about that person that may not have some place to go. Think about that individual who may be single and alone. Think about the widow. Think of if you are in an academic environment, a college environment. When you come to the holidays, think about that student that's going to be in the dormitory and invite them over. What can you do to reveal kindness to others? As you do that, you will find that your own health will dramatically increase as well, because there's something about giving that is life-giving. There's something about sharing that is health-building. And lastly, on the holidays, think about what you can be grateful for. Thanksgiving is really health-giving, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But now, Teenie, you have another recipe for us.
We're going to do some chicken salad sandwiches.
I love them.
Okay, well, they're good and they're delicious and nutritious. For this recipe, you'll need 1 cup of soaked garbanzo beans, 3/4 cups of water, a tablespoon of Bragg liquid aminos, 2½ tablespoons of McKay's chicken seasoning, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic salt, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of parsley flakes, and 1.25 cups of gluten flour. So we will make first the vegetarian chicken, and then for the vegetarian chicken salad, we will add 1/4 cup of celery that's chopped and probably chopped fine, and then veggies to taste. So let's start with our garbanzo beans. Garbanzos are a wonderful source of protein. You see, you get protein from basically high protein from 3 sources: from your beans, your legumes, and then, of course, your gluten flours, and then your nut products. And so the last time we did a demonstration with nuts, and now we're going to do it with beans. And so we have garbanzo beans. These are the dry garbanzos. So these are dry. Now you can also use them in the can, and so, but we're using the dry ones. And these are the garbanzos after they have been soaked. So these are the garbanzos after they've been soaked, and we're going to put those, and you just soak them in water, cover them completely with water, and then let them soak overnight. And then put them into your blender and add your water, and then just blend that up until it's blended nicely. Okay, then once they're blended, very good, so that it's all nice and more of a batter, looking like a batter, then you pour it into a bowl and simply add your seasonings. Then you add the gluten flour. So we have our garbanzo beans blended, and now we're simply going to add all of our seasonings. So we'll put all the seasonings together here, the garlic and garlic salt and your onion powder and your parsley flakes, and just mix that all together. And then you're going to add your gluten flour. And then you have 2 sources of good protein. You have both your garbanzo beans and you have your gluten flour. So mix this up and it will come all together. It will be almost like kneading in a little ball, and so it's like almost like bread making. You're going to just get everything in there and make it like one round ball, and we need to put that onto a baking dish because you're going to bake this as well. Now, I had a cooking school, and there was a lady that came to my cooking school, and she had never tasted vegetarian food. And once she tasted this chicken salad, she couldn't believe it. And she came to me and she said, "Oh, Mrs. Finley, this is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. In fact, it even beats my pork roast." And I thought, well, I'm glad I have something that beats a pork roast, because of course, pork is the highest source of cholesterol and fat, so we want to make sure that we're eating something really good. And this vegetarian chicken salad is really good. So you see, you have a nice, almost like, it's just about like what you would do when you're kneading bread. And so you knead this all. And to think that you can actually make your own vegetarian chicken salad. You don't have to buy it out of a can. You don't even have to buy it frozen. You can make it yourself out of gluten flour, seasonings, and garbanzo beans. And then you put this ball. Now, I made 2 balls here for recipe, you can make one, flatten it out, and then put it into the oven and bake it, or you can take 2 balls like this, split it up, and make 2 out of there, and put it into the oven. And what you want to do is bake it off. So you press it down and put it on a baking sheet, and you have 2 balls like this, and you're going to bake that off. And then you have your chicken here. Then you have your chicken here that you're going to make your chicken salad with. So we're going to make some chicken salad after Mark comes back and tells us some good reasons why we should eat healthy during the holidays.
I really enjoy that chicken salad. You know, I often take it in sandwiches and often take it in my lunches, and Teenie makes it not only at the holidays, but she makes it at other times, especially for me, and it's absolutely delicious. We've been talking about 7 principles of how to have healthy holidays. Health is not merely a matter of diet or eating, it's a matter of every aspect of our lives. To be in health means that we are physically well, that we are mentally alert, that we're emotionally stable, and that we have a spiritual life in our connection with God. And so when we talk about the holidays in our family, we try to include all of the aspects of health. And here in our natural lifestyle cooking workbook, I've been talking about 7 principles of how to make your holidays the most healthy. And we've been looking at one principle called Thanksgiving, or gratitude. When Hans Selye, the founder of stress research and the great stress researcher from Canada, talked about stress, he said the key attitude in reducing the stress in your life is the attitude of gratitude. So when we celebrate holidays in our home, often at Thanksgiving, we sit around the table and I ask each of the children, grandchildren, share something that you are thankful for. If we go to Christmas, we're talking about on Christmas Day, the fact that not only do we give gifts to one another, but that Jesus is the greatest gift. And we talk about Thanksgiving for Him. Birthdays, we try to look for experiences of things that we're thankful for. There are 2 physicians, psychologists, Dr. Robert Emmons at the University of California, Davis, and Dr. Michael McKellar at the University of Miami. And they did an amazing study on gratitude. They took 2 groups of people. The first group of people, they said, write about something you're thankful for. The second group of people, they said, write about something that irritates you. And over a 10-day period, each day, the first group would write about something they were thankful for, and the second group would write about something that irritated them. At the end of the 10 days, this is what they discovered. Let me read to you. It was actually 10 weeks. And they said after 10 weeks, those who wrote about gratitude were more optimistic and felt better about their lives. Surprisingly, they had fewer visits to the physicians. They exercised more than those who focused on sources of aggravation. This remarkable research indicates that if you develop a thankful spirit and a grateful heart, that the brain releases positive chemical endorphins into the body that help to reduce stress and promote health. So on the holidays, look for things to be thankful for, not things that you wish were better. On the holidays, enjoy your family relationships. On the holidays, eat some of this great healthy food from Mrs. Finley's cookbook, and you have another recipe for it.
Well, we're going to finish the chicken salad sandwiches.
Exactly.
So we're going to bake this off. You remember, we just blended up all those garbanzo beans and mixed it with the gluten flour and the seasoning. So we're going to bake this off for about an hour at 350 degrees in the oven. If you're ever in doubt about a temperature, 350 is a moderate oven, so that's great. And now this one has already been baked. This is one of those round balls that we just made. And we're going to just break this up and put it into this grinder, and we're going to make our own chicken salad. So we're going to put this into the grinder, and you could just tear them off like that in pieces. And this is just garbanzo beans, gluten flour, and seasonings. Amazing how nutritious this can be, and inexpensive. If you want something economical for the holidays as well, then you can have this good recipe. So we're going to blend this all up here and break it up, and then we're going to put the cover on and just click that in, and we're going to turn it on, and you will have some ground up vegetarian chicken salad. Let's do it just a little bit more. Okay, you see what you have? You have some ground chicken here, just like we have here. And you have this chicken all ground up. So I'm going to now take, and you have another ball. So this is nice because you can grind it and you can put it in your freezer and actually have it whenever you want to have special occasions, maybe for an evening meal, just a sandwich or something. And then I'm going to add some chopped up celery and then some Vegenaise. This is vegetarian, plant-based vegetarian mayonnaise, and we're going to mix that together. And you know what? You can make the holidays fun because you can even make special sandwiches for your guests. You can take a piece of bread and make a Christmas tree. Here's a wonderful little Christmas tree. Just take a cookie cutter like this, put your bread down, and cut your Christmas tree right out of your bread, just like we have here. You cut that out and you have a nice Christmas tree. So you just take a Christmas tree bread or a bell or whatever you want, and then mix this with your soy mayonnaise and your celery. We'll put a little more of that mayonnaise in here. You can use as much or as little as you like. You can use it to taste. And we'll put that, and then you just spread it on your bread, and you have a nice appetizer, or you can use it when you actually have a supper meal or you want something substantial but a little lighter than a full roast or something. So this is a nice dish to have on hand. In fact, you can just freeze this even. You can put it into your, once it's ground up, you can freeze it. You can put it in your refrigerator and keep it for quite some time. And so, of course, nothing will keep that we make forever because you don't have any preservatives. You only have, of course, natural ingredients in here. So then you just spread this across your Christmas tree bread and make yourself a sandwich. And here you go. You have some good sandwiches,
Looks
Mr.
great.
Finley. Yes. So I hope that you will try some of these delicious, nutritious, and economical recipes during the holidays.
These look and smell delicious. What's our next recipe?
Next, we're going to do something for Valentine's Day, maybe some fruit balls. For the dried fruit candy recipe, you will need 2 cups of dried apricots ground, 1 cup of dates ground, 1 cup of raisins ground, and 1/2 cup of chopped crushed walnuts. So let's take our apricots, wonderful in vitamin A, iron, all kinds of good nutrients, some good dates, and some raisins, which are also high in your nutrients. And so we're going to take some of this, and I've already ground this. You can use one of those old-fashioned meat grinders to do your dried fruit candy with, or you can actually on your with your KitchenAid, they have a piece that you can do that with as well. So I've already ground this, and I'm going to mix it all together. And now you just mix it with your hands, and you will have some wonderful candy. And you can use this not only for your Christmas holiday or Thanksgiving or parties or whatever, but also you can use this for Valentine's Day. Serve your family, the ones that you love, some good, nutritious candy. And you can see that that's all going in there. We have more apricots, double the amount of apricots than the raisins and dates. Now also there are lots of other dried fruits too that you can use. There's dried mangoes, there's a lot of different dried fruits. So whatever you choose, you can use there. So you want to get that all in so it's all mixed in nicely. And once you have that all mixed in, then you're going to roll this in some crushed nuts. So here we have a nice ball. And then we're going to take some of this and roll it in some nuts. And you just roll them as big or as small as you want. And these are delicious. And of course there's no sugar in here, just the sweetening from the dates and the dried fruit itself. And so then we're going to, let's have a bowl here. We can put those in, and then you just keep making all of these fruit balls, and you have a wonderful natural dessert. Also, something good for the children, so they're not always eating that sugar candy. Have you ever noticed when children eat a lot of sugar, then they may be hyperactive, and so it's good to have some good natural fruit. And then, of course, your natural fruits, just your grapes and your peaches and plums and pears and apples. In fact, there's a lot of good nutrition in an apple. They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and they're good for your bones as well because you have lots of boron. So besides this dried fruit, be sure to give your family lots of good fruit. We can eat it in abundance, really, and have a lot of good nutrition. So we're going to make these fruit balls, and Mark is going to share with you some more things from our Natural Lifestyle Cooking Workbook.
We have been talking about the fact that our attitudes play a dramatic role in our health. We've pointed out that a positive mental attitude makes a difference. The University of Kansas recently has done some pioneer land-breaking research, and let me share with you some of that research from the University of Kansas. They were looking at the role of attitude and physical health, and the University of Kansas found that positive emotions are critical for maintaining health of people worldwide. And here I'm quoting the study. There's a science that's emerging that says a positive attitude isn't just a state of mind. It also has linkages to what's going on in the brain and in the body. So attitudes have linkages to what's going on in our brain and what's going on in our body. A positive mental attitude brings health and joy in life. Health is very, very broad-based. If you go back to creation in the book of Genesis, you discover that God put Adam and Eve in a garden. Why? He wanted them to have fresh air and sunshine. Those are elements of health. He gave them a plant-based diet in Eden, the diet that would give them the fuel to sustain their life and to sustain their health. And in that garden, Adam and Eve had a positive, loving relationship together. That made all the difference. We know today that attitudes and relationships do make a difference. And in that garden, Adam and Eve were to dress and keep the garden. They got adequate exercise. But most of all, before sin, Adam and Eve had a relationship with God. And it was that relationship with God that gave them an anchor in their lives, because love heals and selfishness and hate destroys. Teenie, you've just about got those nut balls done, don't you?
Yes, these are a wonderful fruit, natural fruit dessert for the holidays. So I hope that they will enjoy making those and also eating them.
You know, the walnuts are really good as well. Studies
Yes.
indicate, I was looking at a study from Harvard recently, and it indicated that the walnuts provide a reduced cardiovascular risk if you eat walnuts 3 times a week or more. And I know every time we sit down for breakfast, you always give me a handful of walnuts.
Yes, and I do want to feed you those walnuts because I want you to live longer. And you know, one way that we can actually even improve our health is by gratitude. And so we're going to talk a little bit next about another day that's important, and that is Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is a very special day to express our love, and flowers make a difference. Rutgers University joined with the American Floral Society to study the impact of flowers on attitude. They looked at 147 women that received flowers. Now, men, listen to this one. These women had 2 predominant emotions, excitement and happiness. And as they got their flowers, their mental attitude improved. And anytime you improve somebody's mental attitude, you improve their health as well. So giving flowers, expressing love on Valentine's Day benefits both the giver and the receiver. Right, Teenie?
That's right, Mark. Flowers are an important part, but just giving a gift is also very important. In fact, on the holidays, people can give a wonderful loaf of bread. Just wrap it in some homemade bread in some foil with a nice bow, and that's a wonderful, nutritious gift. But in addition to that, we might give flowers, but we can give other gifts as well. I'd like to tell you and share with you the first Valentine's gift that I got from Mark, who was then my boyfriend, not my husband, and he gave me the first Valentine's gift. He gave me a lovely card. It was wonderful. But in addition to that, do you know what he gave me? It wasn't flowers, and it wasn't even a box of candy. Of course, it would have been health candy, maybe like fruit ball candy or something, but it wasn't that. Do you know what he gave me? He actually gave me, many years ago, a bread cooking book. Can you believe that? A bread book for Valentine's Day. I thought, what do I do with that bread book? I wasn't quite sure, but I thought, after I was married to him, maybe I should learn how to fix bread, make bread. But also, maybe I better try some pecan rolls. I ought to try some of these recipes. And you know that that bread book was so good. It was lasting. Yes, candy is fleeting. Even flowers, although they're wonderful at the time for our health, is fleeting. But my bread book still lasts today. So I have that bread book. So gentlemen, maybe if you're thinking about something nice for the one that you love, you might want to have a special present as well. And maybe it is a natural lifestyle cooking cookbook, because you know what? It's going to be lasting, that's for sure. So maybe, Mark, since you gave me a cookbook on Valentine's Day over 46 years ago, maybe they could give a cookbook as well.
That's a great suggestion. You know, having joy on the holidays, giving on the holidays, isn't that what the holidays are all about? Having a heart filled with thanksgiving. Now, there may be somebody thinking, well, you know what? I'm not sure I have a great deal to be thankful for. Let me share with you the story of Matthew Henry. Matthew Henry was a circuit riding preacher in England, and he rode from place to place preaching. One day, as he was riding between 2 villages, a band of robbers robbed him. He was knocked off his horse, they took his purse, and they left him there bruised and bleeding. That night, Matthew Henry wrote these words in his diary. He said, "Today I was robbed, and I'm so thankful. I'm thankful first that it was I who was robbed and not I who did the robbing." I mean, that is something to be thankful for, isn't it? He said, secondly, I'm thankful that although they took my purse, they didn't take my life. Thirdly, I'm thankful that although they took my purse and not my life, that when they took my purse, they didn't get much money. And then he made this remarkable statement. He said, I'm thankful that I have something to look forward to that's far beyond this life. And even if they take everything from me, I still have Jesus. On the holidays, let your heart be filled with thanksgiving for the graciousness and the goodness of God. On the holidays, let your heart be filled with thanksgiving for the people that are around you, people that share with you life, family, friends, working associates. And on the holidays, let your heart soar with the joy that Jesus gives and the eternal gift of salvation. The reason Teenie and I do these natural lifestyle cooking schools is because we have a great desire that every one of you live life to the fullest.
Yes, may your holidays be special. And as you fix some of these foods, I know that you'll be healthier, happier, and even live longer. So my wish for you is that you have better health and live longer, happier, and healthier.
And if you desire to get the Natural Lifestyle Cookbook or our new workbook, these materials will be a great blessing to your home, a great gift for others. Here's the information that you need on the screen right now.
If you would like to order the Natural Lifestyle Cooking Cookbook or Workbook, you can do so by calling the Adventist Book Center at 800-765-6955. Again, 800-765-6955. You can also visit their website at adventistbookcenter.com. Again, adventistbookcenter.com. You can also call the 3ABN call center at 618-627-4651. Again, for the 3ABN call center at 618-627-4651.
What an awesome, wonderful God we serve. He has given us an infinite variety of colors and tastes in wholesome, healthy foods.
Yes, I'm so thankful for the wonderful abundance of fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables that God has given us, with all the elements of good nutrition that we need to be healthy. And so we can have these things at the holidays, the pecan rolls and the sweet potatoes and the wonderful relish tray of good fresh vegetables and the green beans and the veggie turkey and dressing and the butternut squash, and of course the holiday cashew loaf. And most of all, we have the beautiful colors with what God made in the grapes and the apples and the abundance of good things. So may your holidays be healthy and happy.
You know, in our home, before we sit down and eat on any of these wonderful holidays, along with you, we thank God for His goodness, His grace. Would you like to bow your head with me right now as we thank God for the marvelous goodness that He has toward each one of us? Let's pray together. Father in heaven, we are so thankful for your goodness. We are thankful for your love. We're thankful for the bounties of earth, that you designed these bodies to be in health. And we're thankful that we can make positive choices to live in harmony with the laws of our being, to eat and live healthfully, to your name's honor, to your name's glory. So Lord, each day, may we make those positive, healthy choices. In Christ's name, amen. It is our prayer that your life will be filled with the abundance that our loving Creator brings, and that day by day you will experience the joy, the health that He has for you now and forever.